Hey guys, Lord Wolf 99 back again with another Lunar Legends. Today's episode is called Asylum Antics. And as usual, we do have special guest star, Mr. Adam.
Well, thank you. It's really do you know, like, it starts going from special guest to guest when you've been in so many videos.
Yeah, I think at this point, this will be like the seventh or the eighth one that I've actually filmed, and you're only not in two, so I mean you're pretty much a staple at this point
Yeah,
of the
basically.
whole thing. Um, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we hung out a lot together, so you are in the majority of the stories. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't got anything better to do this week with you having COVID, so you might as well be in as many as
Yeah,
possible,
apart from
right?
coughing and trying not to die, that's my thing. And it wouldn't feel right telling these stories without the other people being there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
I
what we're
mean,
talking about today then, Tommy?
the children's asylum, which we
Oh.
never really went out that way that much, but
No.
we did this one day. I think. Do you want to know something funny? It was actually the second time that I'd met Sophie. Like we were already together and everything because obviously we met online, which people can have their opinions. I don't really care on that. But yeah, it was the second time we'd actually met in real life that day. And I came out afterwards because obviously back then we were only seeing each other for a couple of hours at a time. And obviously I was telling you all about the day and everything. And yeah, I think we just ended up walking. If I remember rightly, I had a chocolate milkshake for once instead of an emerge, which was weird.
Wow.
Weird little details, that you remember. But yeah, we were just on a random walk, and we ended up going out that way. And where this is, guys, it's literally just a normal path, like a normal street. You wouldn't expect anything different about it, apart from the fact that on this one, there was actually a abandoned children's asylum, which
Yeah.
was pretty cool. I think
The,
did we look it up? Wasn't there? There was a famous
there was a
like.
video, and I'm just trying to look at it. Because
Well, I was gonna say
there was a
before that
famous person.
there was a famous like kid killer that went there, wasn't they? Was it one of the Is it Jamie Bulger? Is that his name? The kid who was killed by those two boys.
So this is that's what I thought. That's where my head went. You're on about like John Venables and James Bulger, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The ones that like basically, I think it was somewhere in Liverpool. I don't want to go into too much graphic detail about it because it's part of my language, but it's a fucking horrifying story.
Oh yeah.
But basically, they stole this kid from a shopping centre in Liverpool, and these two kids who I think was only maybe like 12 or 13,
Yeah, they
14
were
at the
young
time,
themselves, weren't they?
and they stole. I think this kid was like 2 or 3. And obviously the kid holding the hands with the mum and then like let go for a second, the mum's talking away and then these kids just, and there's like this CCTV footage of it. I don't recommend you looking into it because it's horrifying, but they did unspeakable things, ended up, obviously the kid ended up unfortunately dying in the end in a very bad way. And then these two kids obviously got put in prison, and what's it called, it's not when you're a kid and you go to prison. Oh
Is
god.
it Juvie?
Yeah, juvenile. So they went to juvenile, and stuff like that. And I believe that one of them, I'm not sure which one. And again, I don't even know if this is entirely like if it was that. I know that somebody along this lines went there. I don't know if it was these people, but one of them went to this asylum slash rehabilitation kind of asylum thing. Yeah, and I think the two kids are still alive now. I'm pretty sure. I think they've changed their identity. They've had plastic surgery. They've had millions spent on them, which a lot of people get angry about.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure if they if we knew who they were, I don't think they'd be alive for long.
Yeah. No,
But
definitely.
yeah. So I'm pretty sure something along those lines was there. But yeah. So this is. It's quite. It was a horrifying story. I don't recommend anyone looking into it. You kind of get the sense of what they've done and what happened by the tone in my voice. But yeah. But yeah. So I think it was. I think you're right. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so I think one of them or both of them went there at some point. But at this point, by the time we're walking past it, it's abandoned and everything. And yeah, it was just a place of interest to us because we're massive lovers of horror and just stuff like that. Basically, just like asylums and things like that. It's interesting. It's fascinating, and we were looking at it, and there was a sign outside, and that's how we knew what it was, like that it was an asylum and everything. And I don't know, we were interested, weren't we? So we like we were stood outside talking about it for a while and trying to look up as much as we could on our phones because it was interesting to us. And then we thought we'll have a look around the back because you couldn't really see much from the front. And we weren't doing anything dodgy. We were just genuinely interested, and it was like an old building and everything. So it did fascinate us, just to see what it looked like. From an architecture point of view, because that's what we both
Yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
when we're older, of
Obviously.
course.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were doing that. We ended up going around the back, didn't we? It took us ages to find because the layout was quite weird, and
Yeah.
we went around the back, and again, you couldn't really see much, and the only way we could really get a better look, it sounds stupid saying it now, but there's like a little patch of grass, so like a little field and a massive fence, and then there's trees. So you couldn't really see it from the back, but there was a hole in the fence. So we thought, oh well, we're not going to go in because that's weird. But what we were going to do was we were going to try and just sort of have a look through the hole just to see if we could see anything. Because as I've said, we're an inquisitive pair, me and Adam. Uh, so we're doing that and we're laying down. And I think we were there for a good like 10, 15 minutes, just taking it in turns, having a look, weren't we? And yeah, in the end, we kind of got bored. It was a fascinating place and everything, but there's only so much you can do without actually going in. So we got
Yeah.
bored and we start walking back around the front, and we stop outside the front again because, again, like I said, it genuinely did interest us and fascinate us and everything. And so we stood outside. Again, we stood outside for like 5, 10 minutes, aren't we, talking about it? And a police car pulls up, and they roll the window down, and there's literally we thought it was weird, didn't we? There was like 3 or 4 cops in this car, like they were in the
Yeah.
back seats as well. So straight away we're like, this is a bit weird. Like that's a lot of cops, and they start talking to us. And apparently one of the neighbors, like one of the people living like around the back of the place, had reported seeing people looking in.
Yeah.
Which had been us, obviously, but we
The, the,
we were
the, the
like,
first thing they said was, "Is anyone in there?"
yeah, they did, didn't they? Because they thought we were
And
like
we was like,
lookouts.
"Yeah," and was like, "Wait, what?" Because we didn't really. It kind of took us by surprise. Like, we didn't even see it, and then all we heard was, "Is anyone in there?"
Mm.
And then like we looked, and it was a police car with like police officers sat in the back, like two, like as if there was like 2 kids.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? It was so bizarre. Yeah.
it was weird. They completely took us by surprise, and we just stood there and we're like, oh, well, we don't know. Like, it's just the two of us. We have no idea if there's anybody in there. Um, but yeah, they thought we were trying to get in, didn't they? And
Yeah.
like
Or that we were lookouts or something.
yeah, and we were just trying to say to him like, no, no, we're just like interested in the place, like 'cause it's interesting, and like I know it can seem suspicious to people to be interested in that sort of thing, But to us, it's not. It's just, it's one of them
Yeah,
things. Like,
and it's like an old building, so obviously like I know we weren't looking at the architects and such, but like, and I'm not interested in architecture, but like, you do appreciate older buildings when they've got like it's like that like abandoned theatre that you used to go past when you're at work. Like you're not interested in architecture.
but it
Was it
looks
like the
nice.
Carlton Theatre or something? But like you look at it and go, wow, that's stunning, and you can appreciate. We were looking at this going, this looks like quite a cool place.
Mm, genuinely. So yeah, they thought we were trying to get in, and we were like, no, 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 we're just interested. And like they took our names and everything, which fair enough. They probably thought we were lying to them, but we weren't. We were just genuinely interested in the place. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
Like we even went home and like we were on like Skype or FaceTime or something, weren't we? And we were watching videos on YouTube, and like these couple of guys who were, I think at the time, well, I say at the time, that's not going to change, but they're only a few years older than us, I think, and they'd actually gone in, hadn't they? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they'd gone in, and they were urban explorers, and you could actually see stuff in their video, like there's homeless people. I think like homeless people used to go in there because obviously it's an abandoned building. It's probably fairly easy for homeless people, and
Yeah.
probably better for them. Um,
The police turned around and was like, yeah, don't go in because there's a lot of asbestos in
yeah.
there. So even if you think of going in, there's a lot of asbestos. So it was
Mm.
like was like, oh right, well yeah, thanks for telling us, but we're not going in. And then obviously when we watch these YouTube videos, they're both there wearing masks, which maybe they knew about COVID before. but like, but yeah, but it was creepy. Like when we was watching it, we did see things like kind of like they'd like behind the door, like they'd just be walking in, there'd be like a little shadow or something, or like a black figure stood behind the door or whatever. And it wasn't like a I'm me and you have watched some of these videos recently, but like we entered a haunted house and it was so scary. And you know where like they're exploring and there's pepper. It wasn't anything like that. Like they didn't claim that there was anything going on there. They didn't even say, "Oh yeah, this is haunted." There was like, "Oh, it's creepy," but it's creepy because it's abandoned.
Yeah.
They weren't saying, "Oh, it's a," they weren't carrying around fucking Ouija boards and EMF meters and EVPs
Yeah,
and
because they
shit like
didn't
that.
do
Like,
that, did
they
they? They were
weren't
just
trying to do anything like that. Yeah.
yeah. They were just explorers at the end of the day. Like if I can't remember their channel name, but they were literally just they'd go to abandoned places and just explore them. They didn't care about anything like ghosts or anything. But in the actual video, they did capture something, and whether it was a homeless person or what, I mean, it didn't look like a homeless person. It was like it was weird, wasn't it? It was like a silhouette in the window.
Yeah.
Like it was, it was fucking creepy. To be fair, I don't know. Like like I don't know about you, but I watch those videos and I do think sometimes like it'd be really cool to be an urban explorer and have a look and stuff.
Yeah. The best thing about being the urban explorer is probably watching the footage back.
Mm.
And like because you a lot of the times you will not see half the stuff that the camera's going to pick up. Because you've got the adrenaline, you're a little bit nervous, you're a little bit worried and stuff like that. You're all these different things going on.
Oh yeah.
When you watch a footage back, when you're having a cup of tea and your feet up and a couple of bourbon biscuits, you take it all in, and there was a couple of things that like Dave was like, yeah, we didn't even see this, but like the creepiest bit was it like the kind of like the play area, and there was loads of like paintings on the
Mm.
wall.
It was
Do you remember
creepy,
that?
wasn't it? Yeah, it was almost like a nursery type thing, wasn't it? Like there's loads of like
Yeah,
young children stuff, and I remember thinking like, why would any young children be locked in an asylum? Like because like I say, it was like a nursery, and you think nursery like what 3, 4, 5 year olds? Why would they be in an asylum? Like,
yeah.
what have they done that's deserving of an asylum?
It
It's
was just it. Yeah, it was a weird place, and I've just typed in on YouTube because I've tried to find the video and I can't find it, but there's a couple of videos on there.
mm,
Uh, from where we are, from abandoned buildings that we're gonna check out, and maybe when we meet up, we're gonna have to have a little look and see if we can run into the same offices. But yeah, so it just you know, it was interesting because obviously it's a lot of history there. It's a part of history that is not great in terms of the fact that if you had a mental illness, they would put you in an asylum and literally drill holes in your head because they thought that would get rid of your mental illness and stuff like that. So it wasn't a great piece of history, but the building's actually like really nice. Oh, it's a little bit beaten up,
Mm.
but you can tell like back in the day it would have been a nice, proper, quite gothic building.
Oh yeah.
Um, and part of me wishes we did get to go in and explore it, but at the same time, probably maybe it was for the best.
I get what you mean. Like, I don't know. I feel the same way about that building. The like big mansion type one across that little river near where you live.
Yeah,
Like that building across there. Like we used to look at that, didn't we? And we used to think like that'd be sick.
yeah. Well, I actually think that I've come across a YouTube video where they go and explore that. I
All
might be
right.
wrong. Um, I don't know, but yeah, I think it's like I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like it's so where I live over the river, it is like a really big house, and like and like a really really like gothic house, and I've always looked at it, and then I remember like looking at it and doing some research and stuff, and some, it's been boarded up for ages, and they really don't like people going there for one
Hmm.
reason or another. Um,
Well, do you remember
yeah, I
when
don't
we
know.
looked across and we saw the person in the window?
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah, and
mean,
this is
again, it
like
could have
this is like a
genuinely
completely
been.
abandoned. This is
Hmm.
abandoned. It could have been like a security guard, or it could have even been somebody investigating, or someone going in there. You know, um, and then like we just caught them. But we both saw something in the window. And again, it wasn't clear because obviously there's a little bit of a river in front of us and everything like that, and it is quite a bit of a distance away. But we did see something move, and then like look out the window and then move away.
Yeah, literally. Like, and obviously it's too far away to really tell what it is, but yeah, that was creepy. It's a different building, guys. Like, don't get us wrong. Like, that's not the asylum. It's a completely different building, but it's the same sort of vibes. Like, it's abandoned. Do we even know what that building was for, or was it just somebody's mansion? Like,
No, so I believe so. When I was reading up on it, I believe it was like a boarding school,
all right, okay.
and I believe that it was actually built. So if I remember doing my research, and again, it's a little bit fuzzy because it was God knows how many years ago when I did it, but I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure I remember reading about it that it was for kids that didn't live in the area during the war, like who had been evacuated during the war, and then they'd go
Right.
to that boarding school. And then obviously after the gone from the boarding school or they sleep there, they do everything like that. So it's a big place. You imagine having students and they've had to sleep there and everything like that.
Hmm.
And then obviously once they've graduated or whatever, then they would go whatever, they do whatever, go back home. But I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it was a boarding school from about the 1930s, I think.
Oh wow. That's what I mean. It's stuff like that. It's just fascinating, and it would be cool to be able to explore. And I think that's where we fall down as like British people in general. Because like you hear about all these American ones, and they actually open them up to the public. Like
Yeah.
whether if you've got the money to like stay there or look around it freely, but they do open most of them to the public.
I think the difference is with kind of like our abandoned buildings is a lot of our abandoned buildings. There's obviously not as many because Britain's not as big of a place, but kind of ours are so much older that either they're
Mm.
protected or they're not as abandoned because a lot of our abandoned stuff just gets knocked down.
Yeah.
But so they might be a lot older. obviously rebuilt with a lot of asbestos, which is far more is very dangerous. It leads to cancers and things like that. And it's just bad for you.
Because we're
Whereas
smart.
in America, I mean, an old building in America can be 20 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not
Yeah.
kind of like that. So I think that's the issue, and I think, yeah, but I do think in America they've got a lot more freedom to do that. I mean, we've been watching a lot of kind of like these haunted places where they literally open them up and go, no, yeah, it's been abandoned, no one's lived here for 100 years. Come on in, you can do whatever you want here. You can even go into the attic or into the all these different things into the basements and stuff. Whereas in the UK, it's kind of like, no, it's all fenced off, and if anyone suspects you, you're going to get a phone call, and the police will come, and they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to basically escort you off.
Yeah. That's weird. It's kind of annoying, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. Guess we'll just have to turn to a life of crime to start exploring these places.
Maybe we will.
You know, if your acting doesn't take off and my writing doesn't take off, we've always got that to fall back on.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, I think we're coming to a close on this episode, guys. Asylum Antics. Yeah, I mean, I hope you're appreciating the names for all these episodes, guys. Like, I'm trying to make them as creative as possible. No, and they're not clickbait. They're not to lure you in at all or anything like that. It is mainly just I'm trying to come up with creative names that link to the story, and yeah, I don't know. I think I said in one of the previous videos, I am really enjoying creating this series, and I don't know about Adam because obviously he's a guest star in this series. I mean, he's in most of my content on the channel anyway, like the Warzone stuff. But this is something we can actually sit down and talk about, and it's a lot more chill and everything like that. Are you enjoying the series so far, Adam?
I'm loving it. I love the sound of my own voice, so it's all good.
Aye. Maybe I should start sending you the links so that you've got early access to all the episodes.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. I'd be falling asleep to them.
Oh, my number one fan. Purely because he's in the content himself. Oh, yeah, anyway, guys, that has been Asylum Antics, and we will see you next Wednesday in the next video. Well, say next Wednesday. For us, this is all happening in the past. Like, all this content's been made within the space of about 5 days. But for you, you lucky people have to wait until next Wednesday. So with that, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!